Messiah babies and a house of horrors? Kai adding a new member to his cult? We're breaking down that huge reveal and more on this week's American Horror Dissected. Hi, I'm Keisha Hatchett.
I'm Liz Raftery.
And this episode was insane, would you say?
Yeah, I think we're fully off the rails now, especially like you mentioned with that big reveal at the end.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this Winter of Our Discontent, then you might want to turn away and watch it because it's crazy, and then check back in with us. So let's get into it. Mm-hmm. You know, this episode really introduced more of Kai's backstory and showed us how he became the wonderful, upstanding citizen that he is today.
Right, the fine city councilman or whatever he is. Yeah, that house of horrors that he and Winter go to early on in the episode from, I guess it was a couple of years ago, we see that like he still had a little bit of good in him at that point because this crazy pastor has kidnapped all these people and is torturing them and killing them, and Kai's instinct is to free them and stop this guy from doing this when 2 years later he's pretty much doing the same thing. So it's kind of examining where that turning point was for him.
Yeah, Ivy does say that after they do end up killing Pastor Charles, that he disappeared down this dark web hole, and that's probably where he learned a lot of his really radical views. But we don't get an exact point of when he flipped that switch, but it obviously had to happen after that.
Yeah, I think it was maybe, getting his first taste of power over somebody and killing them that just kind of, like you said, turned something on in him, and now everyone is paying the price for it, pretty much.
Yes, including his brother Vincent, who may or may not have known about Kai's murderous cult. He shows up at Allie's place, I think, mm-hmm. and he's saying, I didn't know this about my brother, and I believe you, and I want to have him committed, but do you believe him?
I don't know what to believe. I mean, certainly he seemed sincere in his apology to Allie and said that, Kai must have snuck into his office and gotten his patient files, and that's how he was able to tap into all of Allie's biggest and darkest fears. But that just doesn't sit right with me, but we may never know because Vincent is now out of the picture, and I guess we won't be hearing from him anymore.
Rest in peace, Dr. Vincent.
Yeah.
But who's still standing is their sister Winter, who also dropped a few little extra nuggets in this episode. Let's talk about that Messiah baby ceremony.
Right.
With I think it had your favorite song?
Yes, All for Ones, I Swear. I'm really glad that this tune from the 90s is making a comeback. But this scene was, I hope intentionally, a little funny because I just could not keep a straight face, especially with the line of, mount her and everything. It was just completely ludicrous, but funny and dark at the same time. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of an encapsulation of this entire season and American Horror Story in general.
Yeah, it's definitely, when you break it down, it's very twisted. Basically, Kai wants to have a Messiah baby with his sister Winter, but instead of, participating in incest, he uses Detective Samuels as his conduit to complete this ceremony. But Winter backs out at the last minute, and who can blame her?
Right, exactly. She doesn't want to be, pseudo-raped by her brother. Why is beyond me, but, So she kind of messes up that whole plan and kind of needles Kai a little bit while she's turning down this whole plan. She kind of makes fun of him for coming up with this sacred ritual only earlier that afternoon, and I think that we're really starting to see a shift in Winter, that her allegiance to her brother, I think, is pretty broken at this point, especially when he kills their other brother. I think she's fully Team Winter at this point. She's just out for herself.
Yeah, especially in the scene later on where she's in the car with Detective Samuels and he tries to rape her, and she just flips into that scum, man-hating manifesto, trying to get him to call himself a turd, and then she shoots him.
Mm-hmm. And then she throws Beverly under the bus for shooting him to save her own life. So I think that she's definitely kind of at least trying to play both sides here and protect herself from her brother, who I think she's realized is fully insane crazy at this point.
Yeah, so who knows if she's going to be Team Kai, Team Scum, or just plain Team Winter. But who's also changing alliances in this episode, or maybe not, is Allie.
Yeah.
At the end of the episode, Kai introduces the newest member of his cult, and lo and behold, it's
Allie. So Allie 2.0. It's so disappointed in Allie, except I think that she might be trying to like infiltrate the cult to maybe dismantle it from within or something. But I also think that her driving goal is to get her son Oz back, and maybe she thinks that the only way she can do this, you know, that saying about keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Kai's her enemy, her estranged wife Ivy is her enemy right now, so maybe she's trying to overcome them from within, but we know how that's worked out for other people, so
Yeah.
I don't know that that's a smart move.
Listen, I'm all for seeing this new and improved, confident Allie who apparently doesn't fear anything anymore,
Right.
thanks to Kai's torment. But you're right, you know, it would be brilliant if she was infiltrating his cult just to destroy him from the inside. That would make me totally Team Allie. But there's also the chance that she could have fallen under his spell like every other person he's manipulated so far.
Right, yeah, she, you know, makes some sloppy joes and puts on a pretty good act of, you know, like you said, overcoming her fears and everything, but what is her end game? That's really what I'm curious about, and what I hope that we'll find out a little more about next week.
Yes, hopefully we'll figure that out, and maybe we'll see a little bit more Beverly, who I really missed in this episode. I mean, she was there, but not that much.
And now she's in an isolation chamber, so maybe it'll be a Beverly-centric episode with just her.
Yes, hopefully getting her revenge, breaking free.
Yeah.
So we'll discuss that and more next week. See you next time on American Horror Story Dissected.
Thanks for watching.